I have a lot of you writing to me and asking how it is that I set up my breedings. So today we're going to go ahead and dive into the liquid fire litter. I'm going to show you the parents. We're going to dive into the pedigree. We're going to go back. I'm going to chop it up all the way down, break it down for you, show you what it is that I'm looking for, and then we're going to show you the pups. We're doing this in 3, 2, 1. Let's make it happen. All right, fam, so we're going to take a quick look here at the stud or the sire in this particular breeding. And we have QB&K's Power, or Powerhouse, but I call him Power, of course, doing his thing out here. So you can see his movements. You know, you can see a little bit more of the dog. You see his chest. You see the type of bone. You see his conformation over here. You can see what's going on. Now, you got to realize when this picture was, when this video was done, he was approximately 1 year old. So, you know, he definitely had not, you know, even started popping, to be quite honest with you. But nonetheless, you're getting an idea of what I'm looking at phenotypically, meaning what he's got on the outside. Okay, genotypically is what we're going to talk about as far as what he's got in his pedigree. And we're going to be doing that next. Let's take a look at the dam in this particular litter. All right, fam, and now's the turn of the dam. And over here we have QB&K Rio. I love this particular video about her because it gives you a full 360, but more importantly, it shows you the dog in movement, fam. Look at her stride. And I mean, lo and behold, she has a pickup pan held in her mouth. But nonetheless, look at her forward steps. Look at her movement. I'm gonna tell you, she's probably she's actually the smallest female in my yard. But right now what we're looking at again is also the phenotype, what's on the outside. Now let's take a look at genetics. Let's look at the pedigree, and let's start talking a little bit more about genetics. All right, fam, so we're going to talk about the pedigree. So you can see right here we have QB&K's Power. And when we were looking at breeding in order to make QB&K Power, I was looking at a 142-pound male that we have in QB&K Xerox, which is father to Power. And Xerox had a little bit of a slight high rear. He definitely had that. He also had a slight east-west, and we wanted to polish that up. So we went ahead and put him to our girl over here, Aruba. And our girl, Aruba, pretty much cleaned him up very, very well. As you can see here, he's got his H-frame going. I can tell you he's got nothing as far as anything going on in his top line as far as a high rear. Nothing to that effect. And if we go, you know, if we go back another level on our third generation in this particular breeding, you're going to start noticing certain trends. And this is what I mean, for example. If we go to the third generation for QB&K Xerox, you'll be looking at MVP's Rocco and MVP's Karma. MVP's Karma. Now these are two big dogs. MVP Karma is daughter to Terrorist Threats. For those of you that remember way back when, you know, Terrorist Threats was around, and he was a big, you know, he was definitely a big producer. I'll tell you, when I started breeding, he was the main dog I was attracted to. And therefore, I wanted to make sure that in my entire breeding program, I had a common denominator. And my common denominator, when I first started in third generation, in most all of our pups, we had Terrorist Threats. So over here, MVP Karma, she is a daughter of Terrorist Threats. If we go ahead and we take a look at our girl 205BK QB&K's Aruba, you will see EJDK 205BK's Loki. That's her dad. And her mom is 205BK Starla Blue. Okay? Now, Loki in particular, I like to bring your attention to him. By the way, he's ABKC champion, Loki. This guy right here is a Terrorist Threat grandson. He is son to Heavy Chevy. Okay? So Heavy Chevy is basically out of the same litter as MVP's Karma for QB&K Xerox. Now, obviously, at him being a son to him, MVP's karma, I guess you could say, is an aunt to him, and therefore these are, I guess, cousins, if you want to call them that. But nonetheless, that's where your common denominator is. Unfortunately, I don't have a fourth generation to take the screen to, so we're just going up to third generation. But if I went to fourth generation, in fact, if I go ahead and click on MVP Karma, it should take me straight into her pedigree and should give us a look at who. Yeah, here she comes. Yeah, and this is, pretty much her mom is XIK Athena and Blue Fire's terrorist threats right here. Okay. So terrorist threats, like I said, is the common denominator out of my yard. If I go into Loki, for example, and I take a look at his ped, once it comes up, you're going to see his dad right here is Heavy Chevy, and his grandpa is Blue Fire's terrorist threats. There he is. So he's just one more generation back. I also like doing this exercise with you guys with the pedigrees because I get a lot of questions as to how to read them and what do they mean. And if you go all the way out here to the right and you see, for example, Die Hard straight out of Compton, right? Pretty much he is father to terrorist threats. And Blue Fire's Cali is mother to terrorist threats. Now, in the bully world, this is the sire, or the dog world, this is the sire for terrorist threats, and this is his dam right here, okay? In Heavy Chevy's case, it was terrorist threats and Farrell's Blondie being the dam, terrorist threats being the sire. In Loki's case, his dad, and this would be Loki, his dad is Heavy Chevy of SMB, and his dam is 90K Isis Ellis. So this gives you a good idea as far as, how to be able to read a pedigree. All right, so now we're going to talk about the dam. Now, I already told you guys QB&K's Rio, she's the smallest pup that I got, right? The smallest female that I have in my yard. Her dad is Fireball, and her mom is Azu right here. Azu is 115 to 120 pound female. She's XXL. She's at 24.5 inches at withers. She's a big girl. And her dad, Fireball, he's right at, 17.5 inches at withers. He's more of a classic, I would say, than a standard. He's not as stocky as a standard. However, he's producing big dogs. And, a lot of people kind of get it twisted there for a minute because they're not looking at his lineage and what he has behind him. I just told you, Fireball has Heavy Chevy and terrorist threats as his great-grandfather and grandfather to him. So when he's lined up with the correct female, he's going to give you size. If you look on the other side, which I just showed you with the stud, you're seeing Xerox with the size at 142 pounds, and you're seeing Aruba over here with the conformity. So the beauty of it in this particular breeding, to me anyways, is that Xerox is actually litter mates with Azu. And Fireball is a half-brother to Aruba. And therefore, I'm pretty much breeding in this particular breeding, I'm pretty much lining up the same blood 2 times, yet not close enough. Meaning I'm breeding 2 cousins, okay, in an inline breed with the same blood on both sides. And the result was just simply amazing. The pups that came out in this particular litter are huge. I mean, we're talking about 2-pound puppies. We had 3 2-pound puppies. And the largest pup was not even a male, it was a female in this particular litter. And I don't emphasize the size on it. I'm just being surprised because it set every record that we have in our yard because we weigh our pups when they're born. The biggest female that I've had up to this point is Genesis. Genesis currently is at about 127 pounds. She's a full XL female. And, you know, she weighed in at 1.7 pounds. And for this other female to weigh, you know, at 2.01 pounds, to me, it was an eye-opener. So you guys hear me talking about Fireball, and so I want to go ahead and kind of check out his pedigree and go way back to Rio's 4th generation, meaning Fireball's 3rd back. And this way you guys could take a look and see what I'm talking about. He is on the smaller end. He's at just 70 pounds. But when you go back, okay, his dad Loki is right at, I believe, right above 20 inches at withers. But Loki's father is Heavy Chevy, this boy right here. And that goes back also to Terrorist Threats, this boy right here. Also, I mean, you do have 90K Isis Ellis here. And you have King Mufasa. I don't know if you guys know from back in the day, one heck of a stud that he also has in the background. So my point is, he's got size in the blood. He's got size in the blood. So, you know, don't base yourself solely on what you're seeing in the box. You got to look back. Okay, so there is size, and Loki does have size. He's an ABKC champion at XL, so he's got the size as well. So what ends up happening is Fireball's mom wasn't the biggest, and therefore you're getting a size in Fireball that's more of a standard classic look. But I'm lining him up with Azu. Okay, so Azu's, you know, bloodline, if we want to go in depth and see what's there, as you can see, Azu is a big girl, man. She's no joke. This is actually a pretty big female. And then when we look at the bloodline, you know, we have MVP's Cujo here. If I understand correctly, he was about 140 pounds. And MVP's Karma, we're looking at roughly, I want to guess because I don't remember her weight exactly, but it's somewhere between 110 to 120 as well. As you can see, we have Terrorist Threats in her bloodline. And over here, we have BGK's Avatar on his side, not to mention Cujo behind that. So, I mean, we're talking about some big blood in this bloodline. And to add to it, as a common denominator, we have Terrorist Threats right here. Terrorist Threats. Terrorist Threats being a common denominator in this particular breeding, I feel like he pretty much brings that type of size into this breeding because he's a common denominator, bringing the blood on both sides. So his percentage of contribution obviously increases as he's the sole common denominator in this particular breeding, and he appears on all 4 grandparents. So I wanted to bring size in this breeding. I also wanted to bring confirmation to the size. Notice, I'm not just bringing size, fam. You're just not grabbing 2 huge dogs and meshing them together and just throwing them in there. I'm actually getting confirmation. You can see the confirmation here, okay, with Fireball. You can see the confirmation over here with Rio. It's giving me the size. And Fireball has the size behind him that is actually, he has a common denominator with her, which is also Terrorist Threats. This is how I line up my breedings. And let's take a quick glance at the results. Here you have a 4-week-old pup off of the liquid fire litter. I mean, as you can see, she's a blue tri. Just amazing as far as the size is concerned. Just showing you the consistency of the bloodline, how we're pretty much multiplying it 2 times on one side to get the cleanliness and 2 times on the other side to get the size. Just look at the size on this girl. just simply amazing. Here we have a four-week-old blue male, as you can see here. This pup was actually born at over 2 pounds, man, which makes it totally incredible if you didn't recognize the bloodline and what was behind it. He's a blue boy looking amazing. Look at the size on these paws and the bone girth you're getting on this pup. Believe it or not, was the heaviest pup in this litter. She was born at I think it was 960 grams, which turns out to be like 2 pounds and a hair. She's actually coming in as a ghost try. Let me give you a quick glance at her. Yeah, man. Simply large pup. I don't know if you can see her paws. I don't know if you can see her paws on there. She's got tremendous bone. And it's part of the reason behind the breeding. So, you know, a lot of times people get carried away when they see the female. She might not be as big as you're looking at. That's when you take a look at the pedigree, and then you start deciding what's really behind her and what is she being matched up to. Just because a female is small doesn't mean that, you know, she can't produce these huge pups. And I'm gonna ask all of y'all to help us out here real quick. We don't have a name for her. I like to know what y'all think, what a name would be. Just go ahead and drop it down in the comments section. Here we have another boy from that same litter. This the other one that weighed 2 pounds on the dot. Baby Z hit 2 pounds and a hair, and that female, she hit 2 pounds and 2 hairs, if you will. Just want to show you, fam. Want to show you the type of bone, you know, the bone you're seeing here. You're gonna see these puppies grow. This is not gonna be the only video I'm gonna show on them, but I just want you to start seeing and getting an idea so you can start making better breeding decisions. A lot of times people just, you know, I just want to go big, big, big. And at the end of the day, you're not realizing you're losing out on confirmation. There's a lot of dogs out here that may not be the biggest, but yet they're able to throw their confirmation up with a big dog. Case in point, my boy Fireball. So just want to show you, give you a heads up. You know, you already know that Rio is part of Fireball and Azu, and Power obviously is off of Fireball's half-sister Aruba and Azu's brother Xerox. So I want to send a quick shout out to Beth B. She pointed out that we've ran 2 contests on pups and that we never announced anything. Well, Beth, as you well know, but I want to announce it for everybody, pretty much we didn't get enough participation. So this time around, what we're going to do is we're going to open up our studs, Power over here, and also we're going to open up our boy Fireball. And the way that we're going to run it is we're going to have 3 prizes. First prize is going to be a free studying of these 2 dogs, either one. Or second prize, which is going to be QB&K merchandise. All you got to do is pretty much you get $300 worth of QB&K merchandise for second place. And third place will be $100 worth of QB&K merchandise. And with that being said, I'm going to tell you right now what you got to do to be able to win it. So what do you do to win? It's rather simple. All you got to do is when you get to our videos, just come on over here and hit that share button after you've hit the like. And pretty much we're going to be dropping you either a word or a phrase. And at the end of it all, after 5 videos, we're going to announce who the winners are. So make sure you hit the share. Make sure you hit the likes. What are the minimum qualifications? It's rather simple. We got to have a minimum of 150 shares per video in order for that video to be counted towards the prize that we're talking about. So everybody, make sure you hit the like, you hit the share, make sure you catch the phrase and write it down somewhere. And after the 5th video, we're pretty much going to ask you, what is the phrase? And we're going to find out if you shared our video or not. And if you did, you happen to be the winner. you're going to be announced and you're going to get the prize. Fam, if you like what we talked about today, how we went into the pedigree and whatnot, make sure you hit that like button, you smash that share. You also let us know down in the comments section, and maybe we can do this again in the next episode with another breeding and break things down for you. This has been Raul from the Q. Catch you on the next one.